Look who I got making an appearance with me tonight. I got Miss Harlow. Are you camera shy? Harlow. Now all of a sudden, she's camera shy. Before that, when I was setting up, she wouldn't stop talking. Say hi to the people. Say intro. She's not gonna talk. Say intro. Intro. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. Now she's yawning, so you know what that means. It's bedtime, man, so I'm about to go put her to bed, and then we're gonna get into this video. Intro. You should come rolling my Yo, what up? My name is Vladimir Riché from ChaseandRider.com, and in this video, we're gonna talk about 5 bad menswear habits and how to break them. Most of these bad habits, I'm guilty of them myself, so I'm talking from a point of experience. But you know, some of you might not even notice that you have these habits, so hopefully this video will bring them to the forefront. Let's get to number 5, getting your clothes altered at the dry cleaner. Having your own tailor is one of the most important aspects of stepping up your menswear game. Having a tailor is just like having your own barber. You do have your own barber, right? Speaking of having your own barber, with all these barbershops that are closed right now, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do in the next couple of weeks. You know what I mean? Typically, I get my haircut every Friday, so I'm going on almost 2 weeks now without a haircut. Not good. Anyway, back to the countdown. It's very important that you have a tailor and you build a relationship with that tailor, because a good tailor can see certain things that you can't see, and also they can save you from yourself. So I usually know what I want, but I'm always willing to listen from someone that has a lot more experience than I do. My tailor's been at the same spot for over 50 years. So he's been in menswear a lot longer than I've been alive. Taking your clothes to the cleaners, and I'm not saying that some of the tailors at the cleaners, they're not good, because some of them are good, but it's not the same thing. Like, there's a lot going on at a cleaner versus most tailor shop. It's really just one tailor, and then you establish that relationship with him. You have a good one-on-one. It's pretty hard to have a good one-on-one at a dry cleaner. So if you want to take your menswear game serious, find a tailor and build a relationship with that tailor. In this day and age, it's very easy to go online and read some reviews. And if you know some people around your way that you like their style, ask them who their tailor is. So you want to drop by, it's almost like an interview. He's going to have some questions for you to see what you're looking to accomplish. You're going to have some questions for him to see if it's a good match. Because not all the time the relationship is going to work. So it's very important that you have your own tailor and not just go to the dry cleaners to get your clothes altered. Bad habit number 4 is not untying your tie properly. So I know a lot of guys, when they get home from work, they just loosen up the tie just enough to be able to take it off, and then they hang the tie without even undoing the tie. So that's a huge mistake. Ties are pretty expensive, man. Like me, for example, I talk about Shibumi a lot. I talk about E.G. Capelli. Those ties are like $100, man. So the last thing that you want is to just take the tie off without even undoing the tie, which I see guys do all the time. So that the next time when they have to wear the tie is already tied. Another thing that I used to do, and I know I'm not the only one, when I used to take my tie off, I would just pull the skinny part out, and now you just have the one piece with the knot still in it, and then I would undo the knot. That's not the way you want to take your tie off either. The best way to take your tie off is to do the reverse of the way that you tie your tie. So usually when I tie my tie, the last step before I do the dimple is the wider part of the tie usually goes into the knot, and then you pull it. So when you're undoing your tie, you want to do the reverse by pulling the big part out. Let me go get a tie so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. It's getting kind of confusing. I can't even really explain it. So when you're tying the tie, right? So the last step is usually this step right here. Where you take the big part and you pull it through the knot, right? So when you're undoing the tie, one thing that I used to do is just pull this part out, and then you just left with this. And then you undo this. So that's not a good way of doing that either, because that's putting a lot of strain on the tie when I pulled it like that. You really don't want to do that. So let me tie it again so I can show you what I'm talking about. So once again, the last step is like this, right? when you put the white part to the knot. So the way you undo your tie, you just want to do everything in reverse. So you want to pull the big part out of the knot. And just go around just the way that you did it before. And then that's how you do it. So this is the way that you really want to undo your tie every day. Once again, ties are expensive. You're paying $100 for these things, so there's really no reason why your tie shouldn't really last you a lifetime. But if you keep doing it either by not untying the tie at all you're doing is loosening the tie to put it away, or you're just pulling one end out, that's really putting too much pressure on the tie. So what you really want to do is just do the reverse of the way that you tie the tie to untie the tie. Hope that makes sense. Bad habit number 3 is not taking care of your shoes, specifically not using shoe trees. I know that shining your shoes could be time consuming, and also you can take your shoes to some places to get them clean so you don't have to do it yourself. But when it comes to shoe trees, that's all on you. Nobody can really help you with that. It just takes 2 seconds to just throw the shoe trees in the shoes. It really doesn't take that long. And also you might be thinking, well, shoe trees are expensive. They could be expensive, but you can easily go on Amazon and get shoe trees for about $20 or less, you know what I mean? Now, I don't have any of those shoe trees myself anymore. I usually buy more expensive shoe trees because my shoes, I feel like, are pretty expensive. So I feel like they deserve better shoe trees. And what I mean by better shoe trees, like better fitting shoe trees. Actually, I just got a pair of shoe trees now for the shoe that I just unboxed last week, my Carlos Santos shoes. So let's take a look at them. I haven't even opened them yet. I got the shoe trees from Skotibolaget, which is a shoe store out in Sweden. And these shoe trees cost, I want to say $80. So I'm not telling you that you have to spend $80 on shoe trees, but get some kind of shoe trees to put in the shoes, man. Thanks, Vladimir. You're welcome. And these are them right here. Like I was saying, these shoe trees are about $80. This is my second pair of these shoe trees. Out of all the shoe trees that I have that weren't lasted, I think these are the best one. They fit my shoes the best, and they're just really well built. These shoe trees are made in England. I'll include a link in the description. This is not sponsored. I'm not getting any money from these guys. I think that these shoe trees are really nice. They have a nice instep support, which is something that was kind of missing from the last shoe trees that I unboxed. I'll do a comparison video with these shoe trees and the last one. The last ones, I believe they're around like $50. So these are definitely more expensive, but I think they're worth the extra money. And yeah, man, put shoe trees in your shoes, man. Why would you spend money on your shoes and not take care of them? Although most of the guys that really don't use shoe trees, they don't spend that much money on their shoes anyway. But I do know some guys that do spend decent money and they still don't take care of their shoes. So regardless of how much money you spend on your shoes, since you do have to wear the shoes, it's very important that you put shoe trees in the shoes. A, it wicks the moisture from the shoes, and B, it also helps the shoe retain its shape. Me personally, I have a pair of shoe trees for every pair of shoes that I have. I know some people say you don't have to have one for every single pair, just need to have one when you take the shoes off. I don't see it that way. I feel like every shoe should have their own set of shoe trees, and I feel like the shoe trees should stay in the shoes at all time if your feet are not in the shoes. I also have some less expensive ones from Amazon in the description as well, so you can take a look at those. They all do the same job. Just make sure you have some shoe trees in your shoes. That takes us to bad menswear habit number 2, and that's quantity over quality. Now this one is tough because once again, I used to do this myself. I remember when I worked part-time at Banana Republic, I had like 6 pairs of shoes from Banana Republic because I was getting 50% off. So I really thought that was popping, but you know, all those shoes were trash. So this is not just a menswear thing, this is more of a life thing. I think a lot of people think that when you have more of something, it's better as opposed to just having a couple of them that are of higher quality. Like one thing that I always advise people to do is to pay more and buy less as opposed to buying more and paying less, you know what I mean? I've seen a lot of menswear YouTubers show their shoe collection. Some of those guys got like 40 to 50 pairs of shoes and like 2 of them are nice. To me, that doesn't make any sense. If you're going to be buying so many shoes, why don't you buy less shoes and buy better quality shoes? And this is not just with shoes. I know a lot of guys that are into ties, for example. They have like 40 to 50 ties and all the ties are ugly. Like, it doesn't matter how many ties that you have. It doesn't matter how many pairs of shoes that you have. Just make sure that you're covering all your bases. So a 5 shoe collection, but every shoe is nice, is much better than a 50 shoe collection and 2 of them are nice. Like, come on, man. It doesn't matter how many pairs of shoes you have. How many of them are really nice? Like, I showed my shoe collection a couple months ago. I'm not saying I have the greatest shoe collection in the world, but I feel like all my shoes are nice. Is it a well-rounded collection? Not really. You know, I can have some boots. I can throw some loafers in there. I'm planning on adding those to my collection, but right now I don't have any of those things. So when it comes to shoes, I do have a type. I like really nice shoes. I like Oxfords. So that's what you'll find in my collection. But what I'm saying is, in your collection, it's better to have some quality pairs of shoes, 4 or 5, as opposed to having like 50 and only 2 of them are decent. You know what I mean? So this takes us to bad menswear habit number 1, and that's not prioritizing your shoes. Now, one thing that I always say is your shoes are the most important part of your wardrobe. So I always feel like shoes should be at the top of the list whenever you're talking about building a strong wardrobe. And one thing that I notice is guys usually think about their shoes last. My thing is, you should always buy the best shoes that you can afford. So I'm not saying that you should break the bank and go over your budget just to get some nice shoes, but you should always buy the best shoes that you can afford. So if $150 shoes is the best that you can afford, get yourself the best $150 shoes that you can get. Personally, I feel like the sweet spot for shoes is the range around $325, $350 to about $500. There are so many quality shoemakers within that range that you really can't go wrong there. For example, I did an unboxing last week of a nice pair of Carlos Santos that was under $400. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it somewhere up here. I'll also include it in the description. Couple videos before that, I also did an unboxing of a pair of TLB Mallorca's Artista line that was also under $400. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll link that one up here as well. It'll also be in the description. So to me, this is where you should be. But if you can only afford $200, then that's what you should get. I also made a video called the top 10 shoe brands under $300. It's a great video. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it somewhere up here. I'm not saying there aren't some nice shoes under $300. I'm saying that you should always try to buy the best shoes that you can afford. But rocking a watch that's like $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 for example, and your shoes are like $100, that just doesn't add up, man. And I'm not saying because you're wearing a $15,000 watch, you should be wearing shoes that cost 4 figures like John Lobb or St. Crispin's or Graziano and Girling. I mean, those shoes are nice, but I'm not saying that you have to buy those shoes. But a nice pair of Carmina, a nice pair of TLB's Artista line, a nice pair of Enzo Bonafé, a nice pair of Carlos Santos hand grid line. Buy the best shoes that you can afford. That's what I'm saying. Don't put your shoes on the back burner when your shoes should be number 1. So that was the 5 bad menswear habits and how you can break them. Hit the thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe, or everybody gonna think that you're a hater. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace. Doesn't know the camera's rolling, so she's talking. Oh. Say bye.